Alright, so today we're going to learn about proportional shapes, okay? A concept which is demonstrated by this picture of two Lamborghinis, one that's life size and one that's proportional to the life size, and it's at a, I don't know, 3 to 10 ratio or whatever. Okay, so that's called proportional, okay? Alright, so today we're going to talk about proportional triangles and then how to solve proportional problems in general, okay? Alright, so proportional actually just means similar, okay? So how do you know when shapes are proportional? Well, when it comes to triangles, you know triangles are proportional when the problem tells you so, obviously, which is the easiest type. And then secondly, when all three of their angles are the same. Okay? So when all three of their angles are the same, you know that the triangle is proportional. Which is actually to say that when two of their angles are the same, then you know they're proportional. Okay? Because, let's say, you know, these two angles are the same and these two angles are the same, then you know the third one. Like, let's say these were 100 degrees and these were 30 degrees. Then, obviously, because you know that the triangles have to add up to 180 degrees, then you know the third one has to be 50 for both of them. Okay, which means that all three of their angles are the same, and therefore, more importantly, the triangles are similar. Okay? Alright, so the trick to solving these problems is to set up ratios. Okay, so let's try this problem. Triangles ABC and triangle DEF are similar. If AB equals 5, DE equals 8, and BC equals 7, what is EF? Okay, and the first thing you should do is label the shape. So AB is 5, right here, and DE is 8, right here, and BC is 7. Okay, then we're looking for EF right here. Okay, so you have to set up ratios. Now it tells us in the problem that they're similar, so we don't have to worry about angles. Okay, so you can see obviously that this side corresponds to this one, this side corresponds to this one, this side corresponds to this one. Okay, so what we can do is compare the corresponding sides. And there's actually two different ways you can set up the ratios. The first way, okay, we can see here that these are the similar sides. The first way is to set it up this way. You can compare the two sides that are supposed to be corresponding. You can put them in a fraction. And so therefore, this one over this one is the same as the ratio of this one to this one, which is right here. And then, what do you think is the next fraction?
AC over DF.
Yeah, AC over DF. Okay? Right there. Alright, so that's the first way you can solve these problems. So for this one, what would you put? You put 5 over 8 equals what? 7 over x. Okay, and then what do you do after that? Cross multiply, which gives you 5x equals 8 times 7. And then divide both sides. So x equals like 11.2 or something. Okay? Alright, and then the second way you can set it up is this way. You can compare sides that are in the same triangle. So the red one to the blue one, and this one should be equal to the red one to the blue one, and this one also. Okay, so that's the second way you can set it up. And you can also set it up so it's blue one over yellow one equals blue one over yellow one, and also red one over yellow one equals red one over yellow one. Okay, any questions? Okay, and so since both ways work just fine, you can just use whichever way you feel more comfortable with. Okay, any questions? Alright, so let's try a problem. So if triangle ABC and DEF are similar, and if AB equals 6, DE equals 9, and CA equals 5, what is FD? Okay, so Christina, can you help me to set up the ratios?
Yeah. AB over DE equals BC over EF. And it equals AC over DF.
Okay, so which ones are we going to use for this one? Well, if we label it, this one is 6, DE is 9, and CA is 5, right? And we're looking for FD. So which one do we use?
AB over DF. And DE equals AC over DF.
Okay. Alright, so help me to use numbers now.
6 over 9 equals 5 over X.
Okay. Then what do we do?
Cross multiply, so you get 6X equals 45.
Okay. And then you just divide, and you get, what is that?
7.5.
Okay, very good. Any questions? Okay. Alright, now that doesn't just work for triangles, it works for any shapes, okay? So in this problem we have rectangles, okay, but we can see that they have corresponding sides too, right? Okay, so you just set it up the same way. So those rectangles A, B, C, D, and E, F, G, H are similar. If BC equals 8, and DC equals 5, and HG equals 15, then what is the length of side FG? Okay, I know you can probably do it mentally, but let's set up the fractions. So Justin, can you help me set up the ratios?
DC over HG and equals BC over FG.
Okay, great. Alright, so what are the numbers?
15 over 5.
15 over 5?
I mean 5 over 15.
Okay.
And 8 over
8 over
X.
X, okay. And you cross multiply, right? So 5x equals
90.
Okay. So x must equal? Okay. Alright, very good. No problems, right? Okay. Alright. Okay, now we're getting into some more difficult stuff. Okay, in the triangle above, AE is parallel to BD. Okay, that symbol right there means parallel. Okay, if AE equals 9, EC equals 12, and DC equals 8, then what is the length of BD? That's what we're looking for. Okay? Alright, so how do you think we solve this one? Okay, does it tell us that the triangles are similar? Okay, well, it doesn't, so we don't know that they're similar, but we can figure it out. For example, it says AE is parallel to BD. Okay, so does that give us anything? Well, if they're parallel, as a line passes through them, if you recall from earlier when we learned about angles, it creates a bunch of equal angles, like these two will be equal. Okay, and so will these two. Okay, and since they share the same angle right here, that should be the same for both of them, right? That makes sense? Okay, so in reality, for this problem, the two triangles where one is inside the other one, they're what?
Proportional.
Proportional. Okay. Alright, so what can we do?
AE equals BD. And EC.
A equals
no, over.
AE over BD. Okay.
equals EC over DC.
Alright.
Which is also equal to AE over BD. Oh,
What is it? The same thing?
I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I was looking at something else.
Oh, okay. Alright, you don't always have to set up all three of them. You just need to do the ones you need. So, okay, AE is 9. BD is question mark
Or
or
question.
X. Either one is fine. Okay. And then EC is 12. And then
8.
8. Alright, and then you just cross multiply, right? So 12, I'm going to use X, is 72. And you get 6. Okay, so that's it. Pretty easy, right? Okay. Alright, and then for our last problem, let's try this one. In the figure above, lines BC and EH are parallel. If the BC equals 4, BA equals 7, BA being here, and EB equals 3. What is the length of EH? Okay. Jasmine, can you help me solve this? So what do I set up? Ratios, okay. Which ratio do I set up?
BC over EH
BC over EH.
is equal to AE over BE.
AE over BE. BE? This thing here?
Yeah.
What triangle is that part of?
Oh.
It's not actually a part of a triangle, right?
No.
So you said AE, which is this
Oh,
thing.
AE over AH.
AH would be this one right here.
Oh.
Are we looking at that one?
Mhm.
So we looked at this one. What's the corresponding side on the smaller triangle?
AB.
AB. Okay. So where was I? Okay. Okay. And then let's fill this in with numbers. What do I do, Jasmine?
4 over X.
4 over X equals 10
Over 7.
over 7. Okay, and then cross multiply. 28 equals 10x divided by 10. X equals 2.8. Okay? Alright, that's it. Do you have any questions? I don't think anybody had any trouble with it, right? Okay, that's it.